Good morning. Welcome to Ramblings with Joe. I had a productive weekend. I hope you had a good weekend as well. I like to talk about HOA and developers. It's not so much HOA as it is developers who build these communities. I live in one of these communities that I'm going to talk about today. It is just a quick little background here. On the weekends, I'm helping my brother. He started a handyman business. He does everything. He's been in maintenance for forever. And I help him out on the weekends sometimes. And this past weekend, it all kind of came together for me. The unethical look, I don't have all developments. I haven't been to them all in this area. I've been to 5 now on a level that I'm going to talk about today. They are awful. The builders of these developments are horrendous. It is the build quality is so substandard. They look great. They are beautiful. They are lipstick on a pig, as they say. But the quality is not there. The amount of money that these developers are making versus the amount of money they put into the build quality. I'm specifically talking about the clubhouses and the pools and the pool houses. So, making quite a bit of money off of not me, but my brother's making quite a bit of money off of these repairs that he has to do. And it just amazes me at every turn how the builder of these facilities have just slapped them together, have just kind of threw them up, made them look beautiful, but when you scratch off the surface, the build quality is just awful. So the most recent one is stone facades on the front of houses and clubhouses and the entrances to these subdivisions. There are these stone facades that they put on these, and you have to put them on with mortar, but it's not real mortar. I mean, the mortar's real, but it's not truly. You're not laying stones. What you're doing is you're gluing them to a structure, to a substructure, a wooden substructure or a concrete board, something like that. And so this is my this is my third experience with this. One of my neighbors had to have his wall replaced just before he sold his house. And interestingly, he replaced basically all of the stone facade. And I watched him and I thought, well, that doesn't look very hard. I was wrong. That's very difficult to do. It takes some talent. My brother and I were repairing one, and it was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. So, I mean, it's doable. You know, you go to the University of YouTube and you watch some videos and you learn how to do it. They fall off. These stones fall off of the substructure. And the reason they fall off is because the people who are putting them on are not following the directions on the mortar mix. You're not laying stone. Gravity is not doing the job that it does when you're laying bricks or stone. You are putting a facade on a structure. And to do that, you need adhesion, not just mortar. The mortar will provide some adhesion, but there is a adhesive mix that you have to use with the mortar. And if you use that adhesive mix, this stuff will last forever. It's not going anywhere. So it's expensive, the adhesive mix. if you're paying for someone to put this on your house, I want you to keep in mind that you're paying for this adhesive mix, this adhesive solution. They're not using it. They're just pouring water into the mortar like they're laying bricks. That is not right. Anyway, eventually all of those stones are going to fall off because they used water and not the adhesive. And that's just the attitude that it goes throughout. In my own house, after Hurricane Helene came through the Augusta area, I went upstairs, and one of the things that we had to do was we had a little bit of water damage, and we had to pull the drywall off, and we had to hire a company to dry everything out, and they got everything dried out. And when they run wires through the walls, what they're supposed to do is put a little metal plate, wire or plumbing, over on the stud that they're passing the wire through. That way, when you go to hang something or add a bench or, create a cabinet or whatever, there is a metal plate, and when you go to drill through it, you hit the metal plate and you realize, oh, there's something here. I shouldn't be drilling through this part of the 2x4 because there's a wire in the back, and that can lead to a catastrophic event. Or there is a water pipe in the back, and that can lead to a catastrophic event. So we've got the drywall off, and we're looking at it. And wherever there's a wire, there's not a metal plate, but there are two little holes on either side of the wire. Why would there be two little bitty holes? And why didn't they put the metal plates in? So I run up to the store and I get as many metal plates as I need to fill in on this wall, cover up these wires, so that should I sell the house or should I want to build a bench on that wall, I'll know where the wire is. And and then it occurred to me, I put the first one in, and the little metal plate has two little tabs that stick off the end, and they line up perfect with those little holes. So my guess is the plates were there for the inspection, but to save that little bit of money, they had a worker go in there and pop each plate off for the next house, so that that house can pass inspection. That's the build quality that some of these builders are providing these houses, and it's absolutely horrendous. I went down this rabbit hole watching a guy on, I think it's Instagram or YouTube, I'm not sure which one. He's a house inspector, and he got bought up on before his house inspecting board, whatever kind of board it is, and they were trying to say that he was, what did they say? He was trying to convince the owners that they weren't doing a good job, that the builders weren't doing a good job. So the licensing commission hired an investigator to go and see if this guy was doing a good job or not. And the guy came back, and during the hearing where the builders were trying to get this guy's license pulled, the inspector's license pulled, they asked the inspector some questions, and finally the inspector said, I could not find an single instance where this fellow had lied or done an improper inspection. So they still sent him a letter saying, we'd like for you to do a better job, when he did nothing wrong. This is part of the problem with these licensing boards, is they feel pressure from entities that they shouldn't feel pressured from. But it's disgusting how these developers slap crap together. There's a pool in our community, and I guess 12, 13 years after the pool was built, the skirt had to be, the concrete skirting around the pool where people sit, that had to be replaced on one side because it was washing away, because they didn't structure it properly underneath the concrete pour. It's just every little nitpicking thing they cut corners on. Man, I tell you what, there's a community going up down the road. I'd like to go up there and watch them build some crap, but I don't know if that's appropriate. It's just amazing to me what they can get away with. The metal plates within this house that they just ripped off, and it was obviously they pulled them off to take to the next house so they could, save. I think they were like around $1. I think it was either 90 cents or $1.10. They were around $1 a piece, okay? So for a single house, that's not a lot. You figure a couple hundred of them for each stud that has something passing through it, $200. But there's over 600 houses in this subdivision. So 600 times 200, now you're starting to talk about a little bit of money. And they will cut that corner so fast. I have had to repair more things on the clubhouse in our neighborhood. Just things that should have been done right the first time. And it's just, we have a problem with the gate at the pool. And basically what needs to happen is the gate needs to be ripped out and a new gate put in because it's such a cheap piece of crap, shoddy workmanship gate. Wow, I got a Monday attitude, don't I? I did. I had a great weekend. I love spending time with the family, and I love spending time with my brother. And when we go on these jobs, I don't even charge them anything. I'm just going out to spend time with them, to hang out. I'm always amazed, always amazed. In this particular job, we had I'm doing laundry this morning before prices for electricity goes up. I just heard the laundry go, the washer spin, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then I remembered I was doing laundry. On this particular job, we're replacing the base for columns on a gazebo, and it's obvious they just threw these together as well. So we're doing a very good job, and we're still working on it. He'll probably finish it this week, or we'll finish it next Saturday. And basically what they've done is they did not paint both sides of the wood with, they didn't treat the wood. They just got interior wood, and they threw it down there on the column. On the base of the column, you put 1x4s, and you build a little box around it, and then you put a little piece of molding around it, and that makes it look pretty. And they did not use the proper wood, and you can use any wood you want as long as you treat it yourself if it's not treated wood. And then they didn't caulk around the top of the wood. It's just shoddy work. It's just slapped together. It's lipstick on a pig. It looks pretty when you put it up, but it just falls apart in 10, 15 years. And of course, at that point, the developer's gone. And there's another thing. The developers of these communities, they put the community up, and then they go out of business, or they unincorporate. They're no longer a business. So that way they move on to the next one. They start another business to create another community, and there's no culpability. There's no responsibility for the community. It's a horrendous way for residents to have to deal with the businesses that put these places up. And the businesses maintain control of the HOA while they're building. So people are moving in, they control the HOA. You don't even get to inspect. You don't get to go to, like in this, what I'm talking about today, the clubhouses, look around and make sure the build quality's good. No, because the developer has complete control until the development's done. So in this case, over 600 houses, until that last house is built and sold, he controls the HOA, and that can be 10, 15 years. And then the residents take over, and they go up and they see the shoddy workmanship, which is what's happening here. These column bases and stones on these houses, they're something else. They are trash is what they are. And there's nothing wrong with the product, with the stone facade itself. It's just they did not use the glue, the adhesion mix in the mortar, so they're going to fall off. We would go we would go and put the adhesive on the back of the stone, and when you push the stone on it, and 2 or 3 more stones would fall off because they're just not put on right. It was an incredible revelation to see how shoddy all of the workmanship is. It is something else. I would love to go and see some of the higher end clubhouses in the area, higher end pools, just to see if maybe this isn't a money thing. Maybe I am not well-to-do, but in some of these well-to-do neighborhoods, I was wondering if maybe money gets you better build quality. I know it gets you better build quality. I just wonder if it doesn't give you more ethical build quality. Well, that was quite the rant for a Monday. But that, I've been thinking about that. At any rate, I am off to work this morning. We have a meeting at 8 o'clock, and I am looking forward to the week. It's going to be hot in Georgia. I hope wherever you are, you have good temperatures. I think today's high is going to be 95. Again, it's not in the hundreds. Wherever you are, stay hydrated. One of the things while I was working this weekend, I'm not drinking enough water at the job site because it's very windy, so it felt a lot cooler than it was. But eventually I realized that I was very dehydrated because I'm not sweating a lot, because when it's windy, breezy in this case, it tends to evaporate the sweat off of your skin a lot quicker, and you feel cooler, but your body is still hot. So even if you're not sweating, you got to be very careful. Make sure you drink plenty of fluids when the temperature's hot, because even if you don't see the signs of sweat, which I should know better than this. And as soon as I realized it, I doubled down on my drinking of water. But you need to stay hydrated. It's very important. As someone who's suffered from kidney stones in the past, trust me, stay hydrated. This is not something you want to go through if you haven't. And if you have gone through it, don't forget, hydrate. Anyway, it's Monday. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I hope you have a great Monday. And until next time, I hope you find peace, love, and dream. Ciao.